off your mind is okay. She off your mind, nobody is like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary,
Good evening to you, good morning to you, and good afternoon to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun live.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Maiyegun diary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun diary, gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun diary, àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Share the broadcast, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. This is Amber Alert. Abi wetin we go call am? An awareness alert. This time around, it is becoming official, where the terrorists are now openly being funded by Nigeria.
Maiyegun diary, ẹ fara balẹ̀ ṣe o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun diary, àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary,
Thank you.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Yeah.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Sure. How is that audio, by the way?
Ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ìjọ ìgbádìyẹ.
Thank you. I'm so sorry that it took us a while to start, especially for everyone who is watching this live. If you are watching a replay, you can easily skip all of these parts and just go straight to the message when you feel comfortable listening. So thank you for joining me tonight. I don't know if you have heard the news of the Nigeria, put it this way, Federal Executive Council, a place where, you know, president, the president, the vice president, the ministers, and then other people that are, I don't know, where they decide on what they would do with Nigeria. So this time around, apart from them, you know, paying for the hospital bills, flying the wives of terrorists with Nigeria's presidential jets, apart from doing all of that, it seems that, well, they said they did on Kaduna Abuja railway passengers, those ones kidnapped since March 28th this year. Well, it seems that they are doing more, and you should pay attention. I have done many series on and then with evidence and facts on the collusion, in fact, of the sponsorship of all the criminalities, terrorism that enveloped Nigeria by the government of Nigeria since 2015, when this APC, Egbekegbe, came to power. They used violence and terrorism to intimidate Goodluck Egbere Jolantan, and according to him, retaining or fighting to keep the presidency, that's not what, I mean, it's not worth the life of Nigerians. But that is different theory to the APC. Egbekegbe, they came with blood. And since they came, it's been bloody. Now, where before they came, we thought the Nigerian security agents and the rest of them, maybe they could handle the ragtag Islamic terrorists that want to take over Nigeria and Islamize Nigeria in no distant future. But when APC, Egbekegbe, came in, we now see the true meaning of a compromised security system, compromised government, and at the same time, a completely defeated country. I mean, without the internal enemies, who in this case are the agents, you know, ministers, advisors from Boko Haram himself, who are very comfortable with the terrorists that have been spilling blood of innocent people. Now, before they came in, we thought it could be tamed. Now, after they came in, terrorism became a bigger business. As the country bleeds, those who were supposed to keep them safe, they continue to grow fat. Now, today, it is no longer hidden. Under this terrorist government of APC, Egbekegbe, terrorists have found safe haven in Nigeria. Rather than prosecute, right, or jail terrorists for their crimes, the APC, Egbekegbe of Boko Haram, they have something called Operation Safe Corridor for repentant terrorists. And they are not ashamed of that. Then they opened up the markets, their own economy for terrorists, right, to take over. How? They have now created an economy for kidnappers that is into multi-billion dollars industry as of today. Terrorists are pampered. It depends on what you, or probably from where or which angle you are, or from what lens you are actually viewing it from. Under APC, Egbekegbe, rather than have jailed terrorists, we have repentant terrorists. Then came the Fulani terrorists as well, which in fact contributed to the division you are witnessing today about Nigeria. Everything you read about Nigeria online and all of that, the greatest contributor to that is the Fulani armed terrorists that have taken over Nigeria with the help of the Nigerian security forces from the presidency till now. So at a time, a report came out. Who were those behind these terrorists? Who were the financiers of this terrorism? Then we figured out that they have been prominent members of APC. Egbekegbe. They have been prominent Islamic scholars in northern Nigeria. They have been a prominent Islamic movement in northern Nigeria. And all these outlets, we have now found out, discovered that they have been the recruiting cells for what is today the terrorism that Nigeria is now battling with. Before now, they were outside doing all of this. I mean, they had no control of government, talk less of the security. Today, they have control of everything. On the 28th of March, the Boko Haram terrorists, they struck. They killed over 18 people on the train leaving Kaduna for Abuja, Kaduna Abuja Railway. And they kidnapped over 170 people. So this day, they have released so far less than 50 people. Not just that. In the last, March, April, May, June, July, August, in the last 5 months alone, these terrorists who kidnapped the Kaduna Abuja railway passengers, they have made over 1.4 trillion naira in ransom payments from their victims. They have threatened, right, to marry off the young women, ladies among the kidnapped victims, if their ransoms are not paid. In the last 5 months, under this APC, Egbekegbe, the people who kidnapped the Kaduna Abuja rail passengers, they have broken into the medium security prison in Abuja, where they freed all of their commanders that Nigerians didn't even know were being locked up in a medium security prison. Whoever lock terrorists up in a medium security prison other than the government that is in bed with terrorists? Yes. Now, in that same 5 months, the terrorists have enjoyed what is called the executive privileges, immunity, including demanding from the Nigerian government, according to Garbage Shehu, that the wife or the children of the terrorist leader, Boko Haram, responsible for the kidnapping of the Kaduna Abuja rail passengers, the family in custody were given first-class presidential medical treatment and medical transportation, including presidential transportation, so to say. In this last 5 months, pacifying, the terrorists that Nigeria said they are budgeting over 4 trillion naira to buy arms, to fight. The same terrorists are enjoying cozy relationships with the same people, but it is about to get worse. When they asked the minister of transportation then, Rotifmi Amaechi, that how can you guarantee the safety of passengers on this railway? Because the same terrorists that have the unbelievable amount of ammunition that could derail a moving train, They were the same people who have taken over Kaduna Abuja Expressway. Many people have been kidnapped along that route, and they have never been found again. Yes. So this made many travelers to abandon the expressway for the railway. Now, the same terrorists that could derail a rail track, in this case, prompted the general public to be asking the Minister of Transportation, what's the plan? What's the safety plan? And he said, their plan, that was Amaechi. This was way back in April, May. Amaechi said he already received all the security reports along that track. And he already made the proposal to the Federal Executive Council meeting that they should give him an approval to spend 350 million naira, right? In order to provide security, surveillance camera, all of that stuff along that route. But the Federal Executive Council rejected his proposal. Why? Because, like as you do all expect, Abi, now them be the government, now them be the clients, now them at the same time they are the contractor, Abi. So they are always the same. So they said Amaechi's companies that Amaechi wanted to give the contract to, the company never in their record operated any contract, so to say, or executed any contract that is close to 100 million naira. Therefore, they cannot give them a 350 million naira contract to provide security along that Kaduna Abuja railway, right? This was in April. That was what Amaechi said. And that was the reason why there is no surveillance, there's no security along the track. Even if there is any security, if they see camera, if camera capture terrorists killing people along the track, what would they do? What can they do? The same terrorists that will walk into a community, kidnap 300 people, children, kidnap 100 people, safely march them into the forest, and for months undetected. However, it seems like the owners of the terrorists, the financier of the terrorism, they don't want anything or anyone to poke nose into their fear. So they rejected it outrightly. But guess what? Just a few days ago, the government of Nigeria released a statement. This is where it is now interesting. According to them, the Federal Executive Council today approved a contract for the provision of security services to the Abuja Rail Mass Transit. That is Abuja Metro Phase 1. Now they said Lot 3 and 1A at a total sum of 718,193,250 naira. Now they said the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, made this known after the FEC meeting held on Wednesday, the 24th of August, 2 days ago, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to the minister, the contract was awarded to 2 security service providers, namely Messiahs Al-Hali Security Guards Limited, at the cost of 407 million. That's his own share. Security, they say 2 security service providers, namely Messiahs Al-Hali Security Guards Limited, at the cost of 407,214,000 naira, covering a distance of 27,245 kilometers and comprising of 8 rail stations. Now, you may now ask, number one, if they tell you that Nigeria is a failed state at this point. In the hands of these terrorists, yeah, stop arguing with people, okay? No matter how much your hypocrisy of I love Nigeria and the rest of all those things that many of you professes, right? Listen to me. When they tell you Nigeria is a textbook definition of a failed country, a failed state. What is the definition of a failed state? A failed state is when in a country, the government, the authority, they have lost control of their people. They have lost control of their security. They have lost control of their own currency. They have lost control of their own economy. Now, at that point, what is left is just a waiting disaster. Every day, you are inching towards that by all this, right? Nigeria has a security force, or let me say the armed force, that has a sort of a sizable number of over 1 million personnel, right? In different categories. Now, at this point, the 173 borders, legal and illegal, that entered Nigeria, Nigeria have lost control of all of them, every one of them, right? Now, that is the land border, okay, which has now contributed to the influx of armed terrorists, which Nigeria cannot really account for or their location, except whenever they strike. But before these things got to this stage, we have already been told that all of this were meant to happen. In fact, if they lost 2015 elections. Now that they've won, the terrorists only the only compensation for the terrorists was that what? You can invade the everywhere. That makes it intentional, which in other words mean the Nigeria that has over 1 million personnel armed that could provide security along the borders. You have custom, you have the immigration, you have all of them armed enough to provide security in those borders, Abi. Deliberately, they left them porous. Deliberately. Now, inside the country, you also have an amount of, armed personnel or trained personnel to discover crimes before they happen, right? But in this case, these agencies have also been compromised. In fact, the collusion of the government with the terrorists are no longer hidden. When you speak to the victims of this state-sponsored terrorism, when you speak to the eyewitnesses, the survivors of this terrorism in different parts of Nigeria, they will tell you same story. And the story is, whenever they were under attack, it is either for a deliberate reason, right? Communication network in those areas will cease, and for the period for hours that this terrorism will be taking place, there will be no response from any security formation in any part of the areas where these attacks are being carried out. And the moment the attacks are done, completed, hours after that, when survivors are regrouping, in fact, aiming to go after their attackers, surprisingly, the Nigerian security forces will show up, right, to discourage them and threaten them that if they ever go after these terrorists, they will be arrested. And many, many people have been picked up that way. Many, many young people, which in fact created further fear in different communities, which also contributed to the call for the immediate breakup of Nigeria. Why? Many, many ethnic nationalities from Nigeria have realized that in this current Nigeria, this APC, Egbekegbe's Nigeria, there is no future for you. And the doom that they have brought upon Nigeria, which they seem never to actually see as what it is, since it is intentional, everything is intentional, This has prompted many people to ask for either a negotiation of this contraption or a total breakup, to escape, because it is obvious Nigeria can no longer provide security for any of us. And Nigeria will not let us provide security for ourselves. Those who attempted them, they have been called non-state actors. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya because he called for the self-defense among the Biafrans. Oloye Sunday Igboho has been exiled. An attempt was made on his life. 2 innocent people were killed, all because he also called for the Yorubas to stand up and defend themselves against these marauders. Because those who are meant to provide security for us by their own making, by their own intention, those who are in charge of your government, they have been compromised. They can no longer keep us safe. Military men are being slaughtered by these terrorists. That is to tell you how sad the situation has become. Now, we are being hunted for asking to defend ourselves. Now, in all of this, the business of ransom taking, kidnapping, killings continue to boom, as well as the threats coming from the same government of Boko Haram, continue to grow. So also is their confidence that as it is right now, they might have conquered us psychologically, because it doesn't make any sense, does it? This is the point. The security forces in Nigeria can no longer keep you safe. Even when they buy 100 jet to Kano Jet or to Kano Jetty, right? Even if they have to empty everything they lay their hands on in the name of providing security for you. If you are not seeing the complicity of these people in all of this, in fact, if many of you actually come to terms to see the treasonable act of everyone in APC, Egbekegbe today, right? I won't ask you to stone them as they did, tell you then that you can stone them if they fail. Don't stone them. You would have been carrying out a revolution that will indeed call for a citizen arrest of these criminals. This is a state-sponsored terrorism. The terrorists are in charge of Nigeria, and they are no longer hiding it. You have army, you have the military. Rather, you have the military, you have the Air Force, you have the Navy, you have the immigration, you have the custom, you have the police, you have the DSS, you have the NIA, you have the DIA, you have all these foreign, all these different names that have now become toothless, that only bite you. They only bite you as Nigerians. And yet, they are awarding the contract of keeping you safe to terrorist sponsor. Here it is. Amaechi proposed that he found those who could keep you safe, maybe helicopter guiding you, and they called them walahi. That's the announcement of the government of Nigeria. The terrorists will have to keep you safe. Miyetti Allah are now involved in different security security meetings across Nigeria, offering to provide securities for all Nigerians in the hands of the invading terrorists. Now, your government made this announcement, right? Now, when they searched up for this company, it happened to be this company, Hali Security Guard. Hali Security Guard is an inactive company that just received 407 million to provide security for you in the hands of Boko Haram terrorists that are now everywhere in Nigeria, including Yoruba land. Look at this. An inactive company just won a contract of 400 million. Yeah? And do you know the owner of that company? Well, if you are familiar with names like, I'm coming, I think I found one earlier. Abdullahi Bala Lau. Abdullahi Bala Lau, that is the owner of that company. Do you know who Abdullahi Bala Lau is? He is one of the jihadist preachers from northern Nigeria who brought Boko Haram and continue to fund Boko Haram in Nigeria. JIBWIS, they are called. Jamatul Izala Til Bida, Waikama Til Suna, just call them Izala movements. Share the whole thing, don't they make sense to you small? No. Okay. Bless I go need to take you through something. And that is, if you have forgotten, some things needed to be repeated continually so that you would understand what APC, Egbekegbe, represents and what many of you, although you will say you didn't sign up for this, but this is where APC, Egbekegbe, is taking you to. Do you remember this story? Cornflakes for Jihad. Do you? Maybe not. I would, one sec. Cornflakes for Jihad. Right. Some names will begin to pop up soon. APC, Egbekegbe, represents darkness. They represent death. And indeed, no matter what anyone says to you, especially those who have sold their own souls, somehow, for the pot of porridge, now, at the federal level, as Maiyegun Allah is making a kill, negotiating for terrorists and ransom payers across Nigeria, yes, they are kingpins who are also the greatest sponsor of the party that merged with ACN. You remember them? Anyway, it doesn't really matter anymore. Just call them APC, Egbekegbe. Let's read the Cornflakes for Jihad. Let me rejig your memory just a little bit before we go to the next thing. Nigeria, David Udenyi, remember this? It's been over 10 months now that this report came to light. Up to this day, all of the characters mentioned in this report today, they have pretended that this didn't happen because it is Nigeria. None of them has made an effort to even sue this author, David Udenyi. I'm going to read it back to you to rejig your memory once more. Mind you, let me make an adjustment on my screen a little bit. Terrorists have taken over, and no thanks to APC, Egbekegbe. If you are rooting for them, you are rooting for something that you have no idea of until now. Maybe, here we go. Characters that are protecting terrorists in Nigeria are the offspring of those who indeed planted this terrorism that Nigeria is suffering from in the last 12 years, which have seen over 50,000 human beings slaughtered, and nobody has been prosecuted for their death. Today, their killers are being compensated, rewarded, and even hero-worshipped by the same terrorist governors of this northern Nigeria. Take a listen, Nigeria organized Islamic terrorism problem did not start in 2009. It's a lot more insidious than you think. Cornflakes for Jihad, the Boko Haram origin story. In May 2021, a 96-year-old businessman died in Rome, Italy. In his lifetime, Ahmed Idris Nasreddin might have amassed a personal fortune of close to $500 million. But the death of NASCO Group's multimillionaire founder barely made the news. At first glance, the only extraordinary thing about his life story was that it embodied the African entrepreneurship dream. Nasreddin was an Eritrean who moved to Jos in Nigeria's Plateau State and grew his father's small manufacturing business into a $460 million conglomerate involved in everything from breakfast cereal and confectionery to pharmaceuticals, real estate, and energy. After many years of growth and success, he eventually handed his sprawling business empire over to his son, Hatia Nasreddin, and retired at an old age, satisfied age. In an official statement released after Nasreddin's death in May, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong said, in quote, NASCO has over the years remained a major employer of labor in Plateau and continues to contribute to the economic prosperity of the state and Nigeria at large through tax revenue and corporate social responsibility, of course. Well, that was the cover story. Anyway, in reality, as is so often the case in Nigeria, the gap between the facts and the information released to the public is so wide as to be scarcely believable. What on earth could this shrewd, respectable businessman, who looked like he could not hurt a fly, have done? To put him in the same article as a story about the world's deadliest terrorist organization, why would the brand he built, which to many Nigerians evokes memories of a beloved childhood breakfast staple, appear in the same sentence as Boko Haram? Right? To answer these questions, our story begins on another continent in 1955, some 8 years before his father would move to Nigeria and establish NASCO Group. A scholar from Zamfara again. You know what is Zamfara today, Abi? Well, a scholar from Zamfara. The year is 1955, and a 33-year-old Islamic scholar from Gumi in modern-day Zamfara State has made his way to Mecca for his first Hajj pilgrimage. Alongside him is a certain Hamadu Bello, who is the premier of northern Nigeria. During this trip, the scholar impresses both Hamadu Bello and the Saudi king, that's King Saud, with his Arabic translation skills. He rapidly makes a big impression on many locals and clerics in Mecca. These relationships will later become his most valuable assets, following the events that take place after this his subsequent return to Nigeria. Upon returning to Nigeria, he takes up positions teaching Arabic studies at Islamic schools in Kano and Kaduna. His style of teaching focuses on educating his students about the differences between Islamic religious doctrine and local customs. Based on his strict Sunni understanding of the Quran, he teaches his students to adopt a pure Islamic identity at the expense of practices that he considered bidder. That is roughly translated as innovation or corruption. So what is bidder? Bidder, Sharia definition of bidder is a newly invented way, beliefs, or action in the religion in imitation of the Sharia, that is prescribed law, by which nearness to Allah is sought, but not being supported by any authentic proof, neither in its foundations nor in the manner in which it is performed. Right? So, this preacher from Gumi in Zamfara State in 1955, after returning back to Nigeria, he also becomes the first Islamic scholar to translate the Quran from Arabic into Hausa, which puts him in a uniquely influential position comparable to that of Ajayi Crowther in 19th century southwestern Nigeria. If you have studied the early Christians and the history of Ajayi Crowther, what David was referring to there will make a great meaning to you. That was who Gumi was. Now, using this leverage, he becomes an increasingly powerful figure in northern Nigeria with his essentialist views on Islamic doctrine gaining popularity. To him, the existing Sufi orders of northern Nigeria are polluted with bid'ah and unfit for purpose. It becomes well known for attacking the Tijaniya and Kadriya brotherhoods during his appearances on Radio Kaduna, while advocating for a return to Islamic purity. That Gumi, the preacher from Gumi, following the death of his friend and benefactor, Hamadu Bello, the scholar finds himself in a precarious situation. The new Nigerian federal government, led by soldiers, has a motive to crack down on anyone who is outspoken and influential. He may be a giant in northern Nigeria, but he is a giant with feet of clay. His solution is to seek financial, doctrinal, and political help from his friends in Mecca. The Saudis, as always, are ready to help. His Saudi backers are keen to use him to espouse the Saudi Arabia state's official interpretation of Islam, which is based on the work of 18th century Islamic scholar Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. This fundamentalist doctrine, often known as Wahhabism, fits very closely with the teachings of our hero in northern Nigeria, and he enthusiastically sets about gathering support for this new Saudi-funded project. In the 2009 book, The Wahhabi Mission and Saudi Arabia, historian David Cummins says, in quotes, the Saudi-funded Muslim world, or the League, also sent missionaries to West Africa, where it funded schools, distributed religious literature, and gave scholarships to attend Saudi religious universities. These efforts bore fruits in Nigeria's Muslim northern region with the creation of a movement, the Izala Society, dedicated to wiping out ritual innovations. Essential texts for members of the Izala Society are Muhammad ibn Abdul al-Wahhab, which is Abdul Wahhab's treatise of God's unity and commentaries by his grandsons. So if you check, what is Wahhabism? Wahhabism is a strict, radical, fundamental form of Islam, less extreme than Salafism. It is the state religion of Saudi Arabia, enforced by religious police. No other religions allowed by law. Wahhabism means expansionist, unite world under Sharia. Are you following me? Well, let's continue. The last time I read this article, even my own supposed moderate Yoruba brothers and sisters who are already being indoctrinated into the northern style of Islamic extremism, the people who are now ready to kill people because of religion, that is never part of Yoruba land. But during this APC, Egbekegbe, we are now having Yoruba extremists, Islamic extremists too. They are still not bold enough to kill people yet in the name of the prophet or in the name of Allah. But they were so angry when I was reading this the last time. And I hope they are watching me right now. I'm reading this again. You cannot continue, right, to lead the people with lies that are leading them to sudden death, the trap that these criminals, these terrorists have brought upon us. So, reaching out to his erstwhile students across Kaduna and over the course of the 1970s, the scholar turned politician slowly builds a coalition of strategically aligned individuals who will someday become very powerful people in northern Nigeria. In 1978, one of his prominent students, Sheikh Ismaila Idris, takes charge of this increasingly powerful but somewhat unofficial movement and calls it Jamatul Izalatil Bidawal Ikamatul Sunnah, Society of Removal of Innovation and Re-establishment of the Sunnah, also known as JIBWIS. It doesn't make sense to you again. I mean, no make sense yet. Now that JIBWIS collected over 400 million boldly with company that is completely inactive under the government of APC, Egbekegbe, that told you they are fighting terrorism. Iwo Madira o, okugbe niyen. Kini mo so, okugbe. So, based in Jos and known colloquially as the Izala movement, this organization will go on to become the most influential Islamic body in Nigeria over the next few decades. Its members will become some of Nigeria's most revered imams and clerics. Excuse me. So, they will achieve ranks or high ranks in the Nigeria Armed Forces. They will sit on the Federal Executive Council. JIBWIS will come to exert a level of influence over Nigeria's national politics and governance that is unprecedented for a religious body in Nigeria. Soon, it will become almost impossible to achieve power in many parts of northern Nigeria without identifying with the Izala movement, the Boko Haram movement. Among other things, the scholar states that Muslims should never accept a non-Muslim as ruler, which can be interpreted as a call for insurrection against a Christian Nigerian president. He is never held to account for this statement. In any case, he no longer believes that writing books or teaching people about Islam will on their own lead to an Islamic renaissance in northern Nigeria. Now, it's all about partnership and politicking. He maintains his membership in northern Nigeria's legacy Islamic group, Jamaatul Nasir Islam, Group for the Victory of Islam, but he is unmistakably the beating heart of the new Izala movement. To all intents and purposes, this is the birth of modern Salafist Islam in Nigeria. Without firing a shot or winning an election, this Islamic scholar has become one of the most powerful men in northern Nigeria. His name, Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi. Can you see his face? So, you see this guy, this one, is the son of this one. Do you understand that now? This is Sheikh Osama bin Gumi's father, the one that birthed Izala Boko Haram movement that have their members who are now your major generals, colonels, captains, commanders, and then senators, lawmakers, governors, and on like that. They are now controlling everything Nigeria, including the Ministry of Communication, where they monitor your communications today. Now, the clerics, the Saudis, and what happened in Nigeria. So fast forward 33 years. 33 years. It is Christmas Day in 2011, and Abubakar Gumi has been dead for over 19 years. A bomb suddenly goes off at St. Teresa Catholic Church, Madala, on the outskirts of Abuja, killing 35 people and wounding a further 52. Almost simultaneously, a series of coordinated bomb attacks and shooting take place at churches in Jos, Gadaka, and Damaturu. An obscure Islamic group calling itself Boko Haram claims responsibility for this attack. During the trial of the main suspects, Kabiru Umaru, aka Kabiru Shokoto, 2 years later, a masked witness claims that an Algerian Islamist group provided funding and support worth 40 million naira, $250,000 at the time, to carry out the attacks. To the general public, it is unclear what the link is between Islamists in northern Nigeria and well-funded terror groups in North Africa. To those in the know, however, the incidents of December 25, 2011 are not only expected, but are likely to intensify and become more regular. This is because while the Nigerian public up to this point has been fed with what amounts to a tiny percentage of the actual story behind the Boko Haram group, This group has, in fact, been incubating and nurtured at the highest level of the theological, economic, and political spaces in northern Nigeria. Boko Haram in reality is so much bigger than Muhammad, Yusuf, and Abubakar Shekau that reducing it to those two men serves to miss the actual story spectacularly. To start to get some of the picture of what Boko Haram is and where it came from, let us retreat from 2011 to 2006 to read an excerpt from a letter written by the permanent representatives, put it this way, permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, Aminu B. Wali, addressed to the chairman of the Counter-Terrorism Committee. This letter is available in full from the official repository for United Nations documents, written by the Nigerian government to the United Nations. It lays out the measures it has taken to fight terrorism in Nigeria. Take special note of the names mentioned in bold below. This is the copy of a letter sent by Nigeria to United Nations Committee on Counter-Terrorism on their efforts in combating terrorism in Nigeria. Now, I will read in parts. It said, court sitting in Abuja on Friday, March 3rd, 2006, granted an application stopping and freezing the financial and economic assets, including business properties and things within Nigeria belonging to or associated with Ahmed Idris, Nasreddin, Nasrate Nigeria Limited, and 3 other companies in that group. The assets were accordingly forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria in the interim. The Nigeria Department of State Services has also done considerable work in respect of tracking down terrorists and freezing and or seizing their assets. It has set up counter-terrorism centers in Lagos, Kano, Maiduguri, and Abuja to facilitate its surveillance. In 2005, the service arrested 6 local Taliban extremists returning from GSPC terrorist camp. The money in their possession was also seized. It had in 2002 failed attempt by GSPC to establish terrorist cells in Katsina and Kano in Nigeria. The leader of the network, Yakubu Musa Kafanshan, was arrested and prosecuted, and money and equipment found in their possession confiscated. Similarly, the activities of Aruno Saru or Sharu, another agent of GSPC financing extremists and terrorist activities by laundering proceeds from smuggled goods, was detected and dismantled. Several properties, including technical equipment, were seized, and Mr. Sharu arrested and detained. Another attempt in 2003 by another Taliban group to set up camp in Yobe State was dismantled. Banking secrecy and confidentiality has been abolished in Nigeria by virtue of Section 12, subsection 4 of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act of Prohibition Act 2774. At the regional level, Nigeria has contributed greatly to organizations of Giaba, this, that. Now, the WikiLeaks cable from 2002 confirms that this arrest actually did take place, only for the suspects to be released inexplicably after 27 days in detention. This is the WikiLeaks cable on your screen. Now, for those who are not aware, Yakubu Musa Kafanshan, also known as Sheikh Yakubu Musa Katsina, and also known as Yakubu Musa Azan, is a founding member of the Izala movement, JIBWIS, and is in fact the current chairman of his board of trustees and the chairman of the Katsina State JIBWIS chapter. He is a widely respected Islamic cleric and a very close personal friend and public associate of, well, no price for guessing, Isa Ali Pandemic. Yes, Isa Pandemic, Nigeria Minister of Communication today. Are you following? Maybe not. Look at them here. If you don't know who is Sheikh Yakubu Musa Azan Katsina, shortly, yeah, that is him in that image. He is a highly respected Islamic scholar in northern Nigeria today. He is a spiritual leader for the Minister of Communication of Nigeria, Isa Pandemic today. This is the man arrested for trying to set up terrorist camp, Boko Haram camp in Yobe State, Boko Haram camp in Katsina State. Maybe you are not following yet. Let us continue. Mr. Kafanshan was even recently named as one of the 500 most influential Muslims in the world by the Royal Islamic Strategic Study Center, a Jordanian government-affiliated NGO. More on that later. So the 500 most powerful Muslims. Yakubu Musa Kafanshan, or Musa Katsina, is a popular preacher in Nigeria. He is also the leader of the Izala revivalist sect in Katsina. The Izala, or Jamaatul Izalatil Bidiawa Ikamatu Sunnah, movement against negative innovations and for orthodoxy, is an activist Sufi brotherhood that calls for a return to the practices of the Prophet Muhammad and a true practice of Islam. Hailing from Katsina, that is where all of you claim to be following your fellow Islamic, my fellow Islamic brother from northern Nigeria. We are brothers. You are not brothers, so you are Odeniye. These are the people that are killing people because they believe that many of you have corrupted Islam. You have brought in so many adulteration to Islam, and you will be killed. That is what Boko Haram represents. They said you have to be killed. You are Muslim, Abi. You are infidel. Tifnumbu is a Muslim, Abi, but he's an infidel. That is why they don't trust him. He cannot lead them. The only way they can trust, Tifnumbu is to give him another Kabiru Shokoto sponsor, shitman from Shokoto, from Borono, Kabiru Shokoto leader. They don't trust you. You are just a foolish person that is following religious manipulation. They don't see you as an Islamic person. No. Trust me. But again, you don't have to believe me. Okay? Anyway, apparently, Mr. Kafanshan has been known to the Nigerian security forces as the leader of a terrorist network trying to set up terrorist cells in Katsina and Kano as far back as 2002. Keep that date in mind because it will become even more important as we unravel this further. According to official Nigerian government communication to the United Nations, this real-life Islamic terror organizer is known to have affiliations with a certain GSPC group trying to carry out terror attacks in Nigeria, and he was even arrested for it in 2002. 7 whole years before the world ever heard of a Boko Haram. 7 years before you even heard about Boko Haram at all. This man was already arrested. A terrorist who has affiliation link to other terror groups who are trying to set up terror camps in Nigeria. Ọlọ́run o, ẹ̀yin alálẹ̀ o. Tó bá jẹ́ pé lóòótọ́ lẹ́yìn alálẹ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ máa ń gbọ́ agbe àwọn ọmọ yín. Ṣé rí gbogbo àwọn olórí burúkú tó ti gbàbọ̀dé ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá torí ìjẹkújẹ yìí, torí wọ́n ń la Nàìjíríà àti Tinubu yìí. Ìwọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin alálẹ̀ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ bá wà pa wọ́n rẹ́ báyìí ká má tiẹ̀ kọ́ parẹ́ láàrin wa báyìí Ọlọ́run. Àbí kí ni gbogbo eléyìí? Terrorist organization APC ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́. They have people who believe in them. And they work on lies. And they believe in their lies. Even when people are dying. Terrorists too. Now this man collect 400, is one of the who collect over 700 million to come and give you security. Ẹ̀yin alálẹ̀ o. Omi ara wọn, ẹ̀jẹ̀ ara wọn tó ti gbàbọ̀dé fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Omi ara wọn, ẹ̀jẹ̀ ara wọn kó máa gbòdì fún wọn ni. Ní kuure o. Àmì ni ó ṣe, má rànjú mọ́ mi. Àmì ni kò ṣe o ní kuure. Wọ́n tó ń gbé APC ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́ kiri báyìí. Tẹ́ fi ń tàn wá ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Terrorists will now be the ones. They are the one terrorizing us. They will now be the one collecting your money to provide security for èpè ló máa pa yín o, tọmọtọmọ o. Because kò rí balẹ̀ Yorùbá o. Ó folómi ẹ̀fọ́ ń ṣe o. Ó folómi ẹ̀kọ́ ń ṣe. Tìran má ṣòfò ni o. Àtẹ̀yìn àti Tinubu yín o. Àmì ni ẹ ṣe o, má rànjú mọ́ mi o. Àmì ni kò ṣe o. This terrorist on your screen, Nigeria knows about him. He's a friend of Boko Haram. So yet, in 2021, he is not only a free man, but a powerful free man with access to federal ministers, state governors, and president or president Muhammadu Boko Haram himself. Look at them there. They are doing prayer. Ṣé rí wọn? Ṣé rí àwọn terrorists o? Àwọn apààyàn o? You see them? Àwọn ló ń ṣe prayer yẹn o. Ìpìlẹ̀ máa gbà lẹ́nu wa lójoojúmọ́. Ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú tẹ wá tọ́nà ara tẹ́ pa ọmọ Yorùbá lọ́mọ àlè torí wọn tẹ̀lé Tinubu. Ní kuure o. Ò ní kuure. Even bí mi ò ṣe pè fún yín gan. Èpè lẹ́ ń ṣẹ́ fúnra yín pẹ̀lú APC. Kò sẹ́ lè kuure náà. You know if you die well. You know why? APC no mean well for you. Jaba jati ní kú. Rédèrèdè báyìí òun ní kú alábòsí. Lè kuure o. Àmì ni ẹ ṣe o, má rànjú mọ́ mi o. Confirm èpè tẹ́ ń ṣẹ́ fúnra yín ni. And then there is the GSPC angle. GSPC stands for Group Salafiste Pola Predication Hele Combat. I don't know if I pronounced that, but don't worry about me, okay? GSPC from Algeria stands for Group Salafiste pour la Prédication et le Combat. Salafist group for preaching and combat. It's all about jihadists. It's all about bati, combat. Wiki lo deshogun la jeni. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died thousands of years ago, and you are here, killing people, cutting off their head, kidnapping women, children, raping them, and then you said you are marrying them off only for you to come back with children and these raped victims that you kidnapped, and Nigeria is welcoming them. Repentant terrorists. It's all about fight for what? Shogun la yeni. A full primer on the origin of the group and what it stands for is available here according to this link. Cliff Note Summary. A Cliff Note of, Cliff Notes of Summary, or so to say, Cliff Note Summary, rather. It is an illegal Salafi terrorist organization based in Algeria, which is affiliated with Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. It don't make sense now. Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, Akpanyo People's Congress. Taliban. Good. And it is the same Taliban that collected $5 million from you, from Boko Haram. Remember that? When Taliban, when they took over Afghanistan, did you know that Boko Haram ferried $5 million to them in support? Did you know that? You don't. Don't pretend you do. Anyway, it is a terrorist organization loyal to Taliban in Afghanistan. It specializes in providing training, funding, and support to Islamists and jihadi fighters around the world, using a vast global network of smugglers, money launderers, and rat lines. Which brings us to the second name in the above letter, except Alhaji Sharu Haruna, in the Nigerian government's own words, is a GSPC agent who funds the activities of people like Kabiru Shokoto by laundering proceeds from smuggled goods. He too was arrested and held on terror financing charges. Somehow, he too is not only a free man today, but a powerful one in his own right too. It will not surprise the reader to find out that Alhaji Haruna is also a ranking member of the Izala movement. According to this post, David dug up from Facebook accounts linked to the Kano State Izala chapter. Alhaji Haruna is the deputy president of the Kano State chapter of JIBWIS. Yakubu Kafanshan, this indicted terror funder, not only retains his position in Nigeria's most influential Muslim body, but is also a respected Islamic preacher with access to the who is who of northern politics and governance. Right? This is them, JIBWIS. Even more interestingly, when David do some digging into Mr. Haruna, it discovered something potentially even more alarming. It will be recalled that in September 2021, Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiole claimed that a significant portion of dollars bought by Bureau de Change, BDC operators in Nigeria, goes into illegal importation of arms. Speaking at the end of the monthly monetary policy committee meeting, Emefiole said, whether it's Boko Haram, kidnapping, and all sorts of nefarious activities, Bureau de Change take our country's dollar and sell to people to go and buy arms and ammunitions to come and hurt us. That's what people want us to continue to do. We cannot do that any longer. We can't. If you have any legal, legitimate business you want to conduct, please take your business to a bank. They will sell you Forex. I mean, a search of Nigeria's Corporate Affairs Commission database for the name Sharu Haruna turns up a plethora of companies registered under the Dandima name. Now, Dandima Bureau de Change Limited, Abuja. Dandima Global Investment Limited, Kano. Dandima Agricultural Development Limited, Abuja. Dandima Petroleum Limited, Abuja. Dandima Enterprises, Abuja. Dandima General Services, Abuja. All these phony companies set up by terrorists are all opened to what? To launder money from Nigeria to terrorists that will eventually get weapons to kill you in Nigeria. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, Ọlọ́run ò ní fire fún yín o, ẹ̀yin APC ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́. If you are a Yoruba member of APC, ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́ wò mí dáadáa ò ní kuure o. Torí pé normal, every of your step kò rore lórílẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní kuure. Shami? A man identified by the Nigerian government is served as a security threat for funding terror via money laundering was somehow allowed to own and operate a BDC, Bureau de Change, which, according to the central bank governor, could well have been doing precisely that. A central bank bank of Nigeria circular from October 2020 confirms that at least as recently as last year, Haruna Sharu was allowed to run a BDC in Nigeria, potentially giving him access to the very funding infrastructure that he should not have under any circumstances. You see, then get businesses opened like that. And Nigeria money can enter them anytime they want under any disguise. A glance at one of the other Dandima business entities shows that even the email address used to register this entity, purportedly a petroleum company, terrorists get petroleum company. Are you now wondering why oil bunkering increased in Niger Delta? Are you wondering why Nigeria, that was losing over 50,000 barrels of crude oil every day in 2015, are now losing more than 800,000 barrels of crude oil every day? Are you wondering? Now terrorists, they run them for you. You be mumu, you they call other people mumu. Some of you don't know that now the terrorists, they run Nigeria for you. Now them, they run the whole thing for you. Just wait for it. A glance at another one, there's a business that shows that even the email address used to register this entity, purportedly a petroleum company, albeit one with zero identifiable corporate footprints, belongs to Dandima BDC, which says everything about how important the BDC is to Haruna Sharu. The question left unanswered is why? Baba, Dandima Petroleum. What you finishing? Along. In case you are wondering if this picture can get any worse, the answer is yes, it can and it will. Take note of the name circled in red below. See registered address, Abuja, this are right? Zaradin Sharu Haruna. So who is Zaradin Sharu Haruna? Zaradin Sharu Haruna is Sharu Haruna's son. So it is no surprise for him to show up as a director on his father's BDC registration documents. There is just one problem. Remember Emefiole saying that BDCs facilitate terror financing? Well, just a month before he made that comment, a circular was sent out to banks by the central bank with the names of 18 companies and individuals whose bank accounts were to be frozen with a PND, that is a post-no debit mandate. Very unusually, no reason was given for the instruction, and also unusually, on a list made up of corporate accounts, there was an account belonging to an individual. His name, hang on. Here, Zaradin Haruna Sharu of illegal foreign exchange trading, funding terrorism. Now, the story takes us back again a little bit. Cornflakes for Jihad, back to Eritrea. We now rejoin our Eritrean friend in the year 2006. The Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, has recently been gazetted, and one of the first things its counterterrorism unit does is to freeze all assets linked to NASCO Group Nigeria Limited. Apparently, Mr. Nasruddin has been doing some creative accounting to hide the fact that he is moving money around the world to fund Islamist terror organizations. Or at least, that was what the Nigerian government itself wrote to the United Nations in the same letter. A WikiLeaks cable from 2002 hints at American hesitancy on the subject of freezing NASCO's Nigerian assets due to the economic implications for Plateau State and political implications in Nigeria. This is that WikiLeaks on your screen. You can screenshot it. It's a bit explained in the next paragraph. The real proof of Nasruddin's double life, however, comes from the U.S. Treasury Department, which publishes a comprehensive account of how he launders and moves money around the world for terrorist entities. Want to hear the real kicker? Nasruddin has been funding and laundering money for none other than GSPC, the Algerian terrorist group, which Yakubu Kassina and Sharu Haruna are also involved with at the exact same time. Check that on your screen. From the Nigerian government to the Nigerian government security reports sent to United Nations. Bidiso. That's the copy on your screen though. Now, the Nigerian Jihad being trained in Algerian camps in 2002 will later return to Nigeria and make up the core of what will later become known as Boko Haram. And what a coincidence. NASCO is also based in Jos, which so happens to be the headquarters of the Izala movement and its many North African alliances. Using money made from selling market-leading FMCGs to Nigerian consumers, a cross-border network of terrorism is being nurtured that will someday kill the very kids eating NASCO cornflakes every morning. And it's all thanks to this nice gentleman from Eritrea, Ahmed Idris Nasruddin. So, here you go. Nasruddin, however, is a very rich man. Like all very rich men, he appears to have a way around problems that would ground other people. In 2005, Lisa Myers and Aram Rosten of the NBC News Investigative Unit discover that despite his designation as a terror financier in the US, Nasruddin's Nigerian business empire and his Italian hotel are still operating as normal. Quoted in the story, Victor Comras, a former terror finance expert at the State Department, says, in quote, "This isn't a loophole. This is a failure to implement the sanctions appropriately. He's been involved in terrorist financing. Let's put him out of business." In 2005. That would prove easier than done. Easier said than done, because just 2 years later, in 2007, the LA Times publishes a story indicating that, to all intents and purposes, Nasruddin has cut some kind of a deal with the US government, likely involving asset forfeitures, to get his name off the list of terror financiers. He has been indicted for funding terror, some of which has found its way into the lives of the Nigerian consumers, who have made him fabulously wealthy, but he is off the hook. That's the report. For the people who have died in the Madala Christmas Day bombings, facilitated by the people he funded and supported, there will be no justice. Nasruddin gets a hand over NASCO. Nasruddin gets to hand over NASCO to his son, and he lives out the rest of his life in peace and comfort, dying at the ripe old age of 96. So many of you that are praying, God will deal with them. God, you see, wicked people live old. In fact, so many of them die peacefully. Now you, the zombies, the unboot slaves, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons. You. Now you they die miserably. So if God is actually acting in this case, now they die painful death mostly. Wicked people, they actually live peacefully to the old age before they die. When they die, they continue to be celebrated by you, the victims of their terrorism. So God is not dealing with anybody as you would probably want him to do it. No. They live old. Terrorist, when no blow himself up, they live old enough to perpetuate that terrorism until they are stopped. Most of the time, that's why when you see terror funders, you destroy them, you destroy every source of funding they have, and you get them off the streets completely for life. Not in Nigeria, they are celebrated. So David continued. I mean, he mentioned earlier, as he said, I mentioned earlier that the death of Yakubu Kassina's initial attempts to establish terror cells and Taliban training camps in Kano and Kassina was important. Here is why. Remember Abubakar Gumi's stated position that Muslims should never accept a non-Muslim as ruler? It just so happens that the concerted push for Sharia law across 12 of northern Nigeria states lines up perfectly with the election of Olusegun Obasanjo as president in 1999. Examining the eras of Shehu Shagari, Muhammadu Buhari, Ibrahim Babangida, Sani Abacha, Abdulsalami Abubakar as consecutive Muslim Nigerian heads of state, it is near impossible to establish the existence of directed or coordinated push for Islamic law in that area. Following Obasanjo's entry, however, Zamfara, Kano, Sokoto, Katsina, Bauchi, Borno, Jigawa, Kebbi, Yobe, Kaduna, Naija, and Gombe decided in quick succession to embrace a separate penal code from southern Nigeria based on Sharia law. They did it when they had a southern president, a Christian president. That was the time they always pushed for whatever they wanted, because when they have their people there, they don't need to really push. They just do it. Understanding the political resonance of the Zala movement in northern Nigeria and the power wielded by the indicted terror financiers and terrorists who still sit on his board is key to understanding two things about terrorism in Nigeria. Are you listening? Boko Haram is a logical development growing out of the rise of political Islam in Nigeria, with its roots in Salafism, popularized by Abubakar Gumi and his ideological heirs. It is impossible to divorce Abubakar Gumi's use of Saudi money and Wahhabi indoctrination in the 70s from the adoption of Sharia law in northern Nigeria. The rise of violent Salafists like Abubakar Shekau and Isa Pantami, whichever one is easier for you. The man you have on your screen right now, a Salafist terrorist, is the Minister of Communication of Nigeria as we speak. Have you not been wondering, why is it so difficult after you registered your BVN? After you registered this, you did this one, you did that, registered your SIM card. The terrorists that are kidnapping you, collecting ransom from you, they are using your own phone to speak to your family members, your relatives, the victims, the family of the victims, who are bringing ransom payment to them. Yet, Nigerian security agents, police and the rest of them, they can't really track them. But you say something about Buhari, say something that they don't like about Tifnumbu, their DSS will track you down within hours. So do you know why? Because the person in charge of your communication, monitoring your chat, your text, your social media action and all that. The people taking all your details is a Salafist terrorist. It's a pandemic. It's a patantami. Listen to this, oh. And then the eventual inevitable mass uprising against the Nigerian state that will take place in the north. You want to listen to Isa pandemic? Make us show you who is Isa pandemic. Listen to this.
Haka mu a fahimtar muna roƙon Allah ya kai mu ran da hatta kuɗin da ke aljihu mu za su cire hoto a jiki. Don taswiri kwata-kwata ba ma bukatar sa duniya sai dai a darura. Amma hatta wannan ba ka da kaulin malami ɗaya a duniya da ya ce halal ne. Sai dai kawai darura. To Allah ya fitar da mu a cikin wannan. Mu kai matakin da kuɗi ma mun fi ƙarfin taswiri. Ba ma bukatar taswiri a jiki. A addinin mu taswiri ko hoton sahabi ne ai ba addini bane ajiyewa. So da hatta wannan Allah ya kai mu da wannan Gregorian date kalandar arna da ke jikin kuɗi Allah ya ce wa ma qataluhu wa ma salabuhu walakin shubbiha lahum na an kashe Isa alayhi salam duk wannan ba mu bukatar sa kuma in Allah ba mu dama duk za a gusar da shi insha Allah ta'ala.
Inshallah ta'ala, one day they are going to change that calendar you are using. All of you using January 1st, 2022. September, my birthday is September 15. Oh, Benny, you are going to start using Hijra, Umrah, and all this calendar in Islam because it's a pandemic and co. They didn't have to shoot a gun. They've taken over Nigeria. Whatever they can do with Nigeria, now your body go tell. Now your body. That's what they told me. They said, Maiyegun, don't worry. Body go tell everybody. As it be now, everybody they pretend to them they mad. They don't understand what is going on as it is. The second part, while the Boko Haram is an unattractive one, the goals of Boko Haram are by no means unattractive to those who make up the ideological core of the Izala movement, which is Nigeria's most influential Islamic sect. Aminu Daurawa, who famously praised the September 11 attacks on a 2001 sermon with a quote claiming that Allah is a suicide bomber, would later become the inaugural chair of Kano's Isba police. They said he is not, the way is mad. They said, no, he's no longer the chairman. That report is wrong. But was he? Or was he never part of you? Terrorists who said Allah is a suicide bomber, who sang a song about it when it was time for them to recruit police for Hisba, Islamic police in Kano. It was their commander. Anyway, with sympathizers and collaborators up to and including Boko Haram himself, the Izala sect has no incentive or reason to fundamentally rethink or change its ideology, which is directly and provably linked to Salafist terrorism. Listen again to Isa pandemic. What are the ideas of Isa pandemic? Your Nigerian Minister of Communication. Listen to this, another one. Pandemic.
Manya-manyan tankunan yaƙi, jiragen sama, ana ƙoƙarin ajiye su akan boda, ana bukata a zo a yi dominating ƙasar, su yi imposing wanda suke so akan mulki. Don daman strategy ne na duk ƙasar kafirai tafi karfi a duniya ya zama duk wata ƙasa sun ɗora wani wanda suke so akan mulki. Shi yasa muke ta addu'a Allah ya gaggawan gusar da musta 0-0. Allah ya kawo mana musulmi na ƙware mai jin tsoron Allah. Kun gane wa ake nufi ko mai bakin jabo. Manya-manyan tankunan yaƙi, jiragen sama, ana ƙoƙarin ajiye su akan boda, ana bukata a zo a yi dominating ƙasar, su yi imposing wanda suke so akan mulki. Don daman strategy ne na duk ƙasar kafirai tafi karfi a duniya ya zama duk wata ƙasa sun ɗora wani wanda suke so akan mulki. Shi yasa muke ta addu'a Allah ya gaggawan gusar da musta 0-0. Allah ya kawo mana musulmi na ƙware mai jin tsoron Allah. Kun gane wa ake nufi ko mai bakin jaba? Na'am.
That is the Nigeria's Minister of Communication. And terrorists take over. Olori Bruku àwọn ọmọ APC yẹn. They won't come they do emotional blackmail. Mi fẹ́ sọ pé mọ́tò ló máa pa yín o, but tó bá yẹ kó mọ́tò náà ló máa pa yín ni kí mọ́tò pa yín ni o. Kí ilé ayé ní peace o, honestly speaking. terrorists to take over. That is the message. And you have no idea if you have, well, let's continue. As long as it's a pandemic, Mr. 00, a reference to an ideological pure Muslim with zero tolerance for bid'ah, that is, a hardline Salafist, retain his obvious and unapologetic sympathy for an organization with clear and ongoing links to the enemy he claims to be fighting against as Nigeria's president. The Izala movement has no incentive to reinvent itself. There is no way that the Nigeria president is not aware of Yakubu Musa Azan Kassina's history as a known terrorist, as well as the Izala movement extremely problematic history and current composition, and yet, as recently as 2018, President Boko Haram was pictured in Asshole Rock, meeting with the Izala movement president Ibrahim Bala Lau. Shay, it makes sense now. Bala Lau, that's the guy that collected the company that collected over 400 million first part, another over 300 million second batch, over 700 million to provide security for all of you that are going to be boarding Kaduna Abuja railway, the one that the terrorist Boko Haram kidnapped many of you. How many months ago? 5 months ago. The people who kidnap you are now coming to give you security. Are you mad, Leo? Are you mad, Nikao? So you see them here, them be friend of Boko Haram. You see, the terrorists are in, they are there. You can scream today to tomorrow. See them, they decide when they want them, when they go, where they will activate those that will kill us, those that will kidnap us, and those that will take all our organs and what have you. They decide that all the time, and they have the resources to do that as well. They are with Boko Haram. See the face of Boko Haram in there. Hey? Preaching one Nigeria, one Nigeria, one Nigeria. Is one Nigeria for terrorists to come and lord over us? Religious fanatics? One Nigeria, one Nigeria. A Christian can never lead the Muslims. Now war, if they bring Abi, break it up to save life. We cannot do all this Sule, Kamilu, Kabiru, and all this one way the Yoruba land. We can undo them. Leave them for us. I've said that many times. But with the way Nigeria is going, you go soon see Kabiru way be saying you go to see Shakara they do before. Baba go just open us. Allahu Akbar, Boga. You'll be wondering, which time all these people suicide bombers take over Yoruba land? That is their end goal. And today, they are pushing us to that side. Especially all you Olori Brukus calling people names because they won't follow you anymore. Because they know that APC, they carry them, they go where they don't know. You will only jekuje. You don't really be only yayi. Ema continue like penyo motolo makpanyo as in itobati moto makpada no because see amo. It is either I have well, this is David now. Let's continue. David said, it is either I have more access to information about his friends, that's Boko Haram, an associate, than the Nigerian president does, with a plethora of intelligence and information gathering agencies at his disposal. Or he knows all this already, and he has chosen a side. Clearly, to the Izala movement, this picture taken in 2018 was a statement. Yes, we have taken over. Yala ya anybody. Shele mad in, shele stupid in. Yala ya anybody. We dey here. Now so rock be this. Now we dey run arm. You see your family member dey kidnappers den today. If any of your family member is among the people being kept by the Boko Haram on Kaduna Abuja Expressway, now those who do am be this. Now them be this. All of them, 5 of them. You see them? Now we do am. Now we dey run am. Now them they run on for you. Can't go around they brag about the thing we go well. Anyway, clearly, to the Izala movement, the picture was a statement, and they did make that statement. An Obasanjo government may have arrested Yakubu Kassina and his likes in 2002 But 16 years later, Katsina's ideological ally is in office, standing solidly next to him. As he stood solidly next to Issa pandemic, the Zala movement has won and everybody else has lost. Sadly. The only other angle of high-level involvement not yet addressed is that of the Jordanian government. Recall that Yakubu Kassina was named among the world's 500 most influential Muslims by a Jordanian state-backed NGO. Do you remember? Well, it turns out that the NGO in question, the Royal Islamic Strategic Studies Center, is itself affiliated with the Royal Al-Bayt Institute for Islamic Thought. A visit to the Institute's website reveals something strange. One of his publications titled Report on the Inter-Religious Tension and Crisis in Nigeria, published in May 2012, has the following to say about ending violence between Muslims and Christians in Nigeria. Listen up. Economic part of their plan to end Muslim Christians killings in Nigeria. Rampant neglect and mismanagement in various economic sectors, even at the highest level of government. The vast disparity between wealth, education, healthcare, and employment levels in the Muslim North versus the Christian South. Tension arising from Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Delta State wanting bigger shares of oil and gas production, leading to disparity in the quantum of funds allocated to the states in the oil-producing areas versus the states in the north, where no northern state produce any oil or gas. And there is an over-reliance on federal allocation derived from oil revenue because of negligible internal revenue generation in states. They were lamenting the underdevelopment of a number of natural resources and sectors, e.g., agriculture, mining, due to the focus since independence on Nigeria's oil wealth, poverty, unemployment and underemployment, land disputes, and lack of a clearly demarcated grazing grounds for the nomadic Fulani cattle herders, lack of assistance on the part of government to victims of violence housed in refugee camps to enable them to re-establish normal life. They said these were the reasons causing Muslim-Christian fights in Nigeria. Lies. They declared jihadi on all of us. They said we are infidel. We won't give up our land for their cows. And our way of serving God is completely wrong. If we don't change, they should cut off our head. Everything else now, excuses. There's no farmers, others clashes. Now jihadists, they kill us since 2012. Anyway, this report, produced by a state-funded NGO in Jordan as far back as 2012, is prima facie evidence of a coordinated international campaign of strategic disinformation for the purpose of framing the reality of terrorism in Nigeria in a way that is completely dishonest. That is why they are calling terrorists bandits. That is why they are calling them repentant bandits. Repentant terrorists are bandits in Nigeria. It is all intentional. Yes, intentional. Dishonest. Making reference, this, according to David, they said, making reference to alleged income disparity between Nigeria's Christian South and Muslim North. They are angry because of the Southern oil. They are angry because the Southern economy is so buoyant and booming. When they invested in recruiting their children, training them to become useful for their future jihadi war. The southern Nigeria investing in education, infrastructure, as minimal as they were, they became envious of southern Nigeria. And today, they have destroyed the economy of that southern Nigeria using their Fulani armed terrorists. They said we'd not give them grazing routes. And we didn't consider their economic this or that. Today, our people have been killed. Our people have been chased out of their homes. They are living in refugee camps in Nigeria today because of this internationally coordinated and locally financed terrorist organizations from northern Nigeria that have killed many, many of us, killed our economy, destroyed jobs, brought underdevelopment down to Yoruba land, brought poverty down to Yoruba land. Today, we are paying hugely for this calamity that this Islamic North brought upon Nigeria. Ikulo mapa gbogbo àwọn olórí burúkú tó ń encourage APC ilẹ̀ Yorùbá o, ní kuure o, tépè bá ń jà ẹ̀yin alálẹ̀, mò ń pè yín báyìí o, ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan lọ́mọ wọ́n ń yọ bí ìgbálẹ̀ APC o, ẹ má sọnù tọmọtọmọ ni o, èpè ni o, èpè láyé yín gbà o, ẹ ṣàmì ẹ má ranjú mọ́ mi o, ẹ ṣàmì ni o, just say amen. Tí o bá rò pé nǹkan tó dá APC ṣe, if you know what APC is doing, they are for the benefit and the growth of us and the people. Now, only that time, waiting I said, now, no go happen, oh. I don't even know if it go happen, but I wish it happened. Am I just son tomo ni o? Èpè le mama gba o. Èpè lọ́rọ̀ yín gbà, no say you no care. Ẹni èpè ni ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní forí yín gbèpè. In Yoruba land, they said, now so olórí burúkú go sit down like this. They go dey mount èpè on him. He no go fit talk. Go sit down there, they say, well, no, kò ní dá fún wọn náà. Mọ́tò ló máa pa wọ́n náà, but you no go fit talk am out. Ní kúre o, àwọn alálẹ̀ amúyín yọ dànù lẹ́yọ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan ni, àmì ní ẹ ṣe o, àrànjú mọ́ mi o. Tó bá mọ̀ pé nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe, what you are doing is good for the people. That is when this whole thing, just say àmì. Anyway, very tellingly, at a time when conversation about violence related to nomadic cattle herding were not yet present in Nigeria's political equation, a Jordanian organization with links to Yakubu Katsina, a known Nigerian terrorist, was already recommending grazing grounds as a solution for a problem that for the most part did not actually exist yet. Should make sense in saying the idea of grazing route too, the idea of a farmers others clashes, all those nonsense. This Jordanian terrorist organization, they have already started projecting them as far back as 2012. Today, if you see any Oluri Bruku from northern Nigeria today, they will be telling you, for peace to reign in Nigeria, let us give a grazing route to. For peace to reign in Nigeria, give them a cattle colony. For peace to reign in Nigeria, give them water resources so that you should learn how to live with your killers. And he said, every time, Arokon. In Yoruba land, there's something called Arokon. Now, deep thought. I will try my best this time around. Arokon. Ló fa ẹkún àsundá. When we think deeper and deeper, and think and realize about the damages done by a olórí burúkú APC, ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́. I swear to God, èpè lọ̀rọ̀ yín gbà o, èpè ló máa pa yín. 9 years later, look at Benue, torí Ọlọ́run. Kaduna, Southern Kaduna.
These are some of the bodies. You can see they've been loaded into
Southern Kaduna.
There's the second truck.
Look at Southern Kaduna. These are the victims of coordinated terrorism, the way they slaughtered and turned Southern Kaduna to graveyard.
The second truck.
Human beings, oh.
We have the third truck. Total of 35 There were actually 38 victims. 3 were buried on Monday because the bodies were not good enough to be.
Like everyday mental sum, See human being where then lay, people wait. God.
By their persecution. Say it is boldly in the words of the Holy Scriptures. We shall separate from the love of Christ. We shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine.
When you speak to APC, when you speak to them, they will tell you that now propaganda, you just don't like APC. It's because you hate APC. Should anybody even be liking you? Normal, if you say some of you are normal, should anybody be liking you? Now, this is the person who is now benefiting over 400 million naira to buy weapons to protect you and keep you safe from the terrorists that they brought upon you. Before they knock your door, look at this young lady, right? They kidnapped her on the Kaduna Abuja rail, yeah? They kidnapped her. And the terrorists to this day, God knows how many of them have already, sexually assaulted her. Let's use that word, sexually assaulted her since March 28, to the point that maybe they are not even feeling like they want to let her go. They said if by the end of this week, today is Friday, by tomorrow, they are going to marry her off. Terrorists can come in, pick anyone. If your family have money, they can free. If they don't have money, then they can just sell you off like a slave. In Nigeria, the same founder of those terrorists are the one who are sitting with your government. Shay, do you need anybody to take you to the river to wash your head and see if something can open up? And then you can begin to reason like human beings that APC have no real intention. They like criminals, like thieves, like terrorists that they are. They came to steal, they came to destroy, and they came to kill. That's exactly what they have been doing. Don't try and manipulate anybody or blackmail anybody to taking your one Nigeria messages that some of you can't even really defend because you have no idea what they have done to you. We are saying that they should. Maybe those who are asking, those who are offering to help you, unify consumption to production, and then by Tifnumbu, I don't even know his own slogan yet. Okay, all of them, ask them, make them come explain how they want to get rid of all these people. You know this guy Turuji Bello, the one that they declared wanted in Sokoto, declared wanted in Katsina, only to be declared hero in Zamfara and in Naija because he helped the people, the government of Zamfara, Nigeria, to fight other terrorist groups. Today, do you know what they are doing with Turuji right now in Zamfara? They are packaging money for him to buy more weapons because according to them, it be like say the guy this time around, the devil inside him is using him to help them defeat other terrorists. Therefore, Turuji is now going to get amnesty for the third time collecting amnesty, cashing out big time. Now they will package money for the guy. That then makes sense. Okay? That all these terrorist organizations in northern Nigeria, they need to help the terrorism now towards this year 2023 charade. If you have not been paying attention, now you should begin to. The money to further fund terrorists that will further unleash terror, that will make them to either postpone that your fraudulent election, or better still, never to hold it at all. In any way, they are perfecting that right before your eyes. What are they doing? They are doling out contracts now. Contracts. Cutting grass with 18 billion naira. Are you with me? Cutting grass with 18 billion. 400 million naira for somebody to help you monitor Kaduna Abuja railway so that they don't go kidnap you. That's his own share. Abi? Baba? If it gets to yours, if they are able to tell you how they're going to do it, I will be the one of the first to share that with you, won't I? But at this point, with what we have just been told, the movement of these terrorists across Nigeria, it has now been even made further easier. Yes.
Today is 25th of August. Look at the way they are coming down from a truck that is bringing them from the north. There are still many. You are covered by tarpaulin. See them. See them. Now 50.
Anisha Gbako, as they say in Yoruba, may we not be unfortunate. So that is our reality today. I'm going to stop there for now. Let me go for my tea break. And although our time is so gone, we didn't start early enough. So if you really want to be part of this, you can probably call in and say your own peace of mind if you want to. Okay. I'm going to open the line in a moment, and that will be when I get back. It's WhatsApp call only, so to say. So if you have been with me all night so far, you can also like the broadcast, subscribe if you haven't, share it if you haven't. If you have done all of that, yeah, you too can go for your own tea break. When I come back, I'll start taking few calls and I'll start listening to the add-ons. But for now, I will be back.
Local,
I think I have my first caller. Sorry. Hello there.
Hello, good evening, Maiyegun.
Oh, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is my first time of getting through for the past 4 or 5 years.
Well, I'm glad you got through tonight. How are you?
Yeah, and when I don't get through, I just take it easy and listen to people's calling in.
Grant.
I'm calling from London, from Croydon precisely.
Oh.
My name is BB Ray, and just want to say thank you for your hard work. It is a hard work because Nigerians, we are very stubborn people and very stupid. We are. And I just see them as being very, very stupid. They're extremely stupid. And when I talk to them, I just notice, is it because of the weather? Because my husband would say, oh, it's the weather. The weather has messed up their brain. I think that's what you think, but I think they're just stupid. I left Nigeria in 1990.
Wow.
So why did I leave? I finished, I did management, I started, couldn't get any job. And anywhere I'm going to get a job, to look for a job, they want to take me to the hotel, and I asked them why. What happened to your wife? That was, I'm talking about 1988, 87.
You're talking about 34 years ago. It was that bad then. And here we are.
It was that bad.
32 years after.
So
worse.
They want to split with me to give me a job when I have my certificate. So I keep telling them why. And they keep asking me, where are you from? Are you not born here? I said, I'm born here. I was actually born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I was born in New Buda in Kanji, but we live in Ibadan. So, and I grew up in Ibadan. I went to my school. I did everything. I have my certificate. Why would you speak with me to give me a job?
Why would you need to do that with me? But it was like, you knew you are a JJC.
Yeah. So all my friends were getting.
They have turned the whole thing to hook up today. In fact, if you will barely see any lady today with what they have done to education to the people in Nigeria today, that you barely see any lady, right, that will frown face when they say you need to get hooked up to get along. Is that bad now?
So all my friends were getting married, and my mom was telling me, I said, if I cannot get a job, how will my children get a job? That is me. As young as I was that time, my mind is telling me I cannot get a job. So if I have children, how are they going to get a job? So I told my mom, I said, I'm not staying in this country. And she was so surprised. She said, so what are you going to do? We don't have nobody. And that's the truth. We have nobody. Nobody knows us. There's nobody to help me to get visa. I don't even have a passport. A long story short, I traveled. I was able to get a Cairo visa, Egypt. Right. I went to Egypt. That time, that was 1989. I got a visa of 300 naira from Egypt embassy,
right?
Egyptian embassy. And I traveled out of Nigeria with my visa to Cairo. According to people who are doing the link downtown, they said, oh, if you get to Cairo, you will get a plane to America, to England. So everybody was happy. When we got to Cairo, we realized it's not like that. There is no work permit. They put it in the visa. There is no work permit. So we got there. Anyway, from there, we will make our move. I'm one of those that came to this country without no visa. It took me 5 years to get to England. I went from Cairo to Turkey, from Turkey to Greece, from Greece to Italy, from Italy to London. And it is 5 good years. 5 good years. My mom was begging me. I said, I'm not having no children in Nigeria. I don't want my child to become a thief, a criminal. No.
Yeah.
When I get to where I'm going, I will have my children. To God be the glory. I have all my children there.
Oh, bless you, ma. I mean, it's sometimes, the future in the 90s that you are saying is a rare occurrence For someone to get so convinced that much that I'm a graduate. I mean, I'm a Nigerian. Why should I suffer to get a job?
Yes. And when I got here, I called my mom. I said, how many of your friends are still alive? She said, some of them have died, blah, blah, blah. My mom is still alive. I bought her a house, looked after her. She was coming to London, and she's so happy. And I said, do you know if I'm still in Nigeria, I would probably have killed myself, and you would have died of hunger? She said, yes. I said, yeah, I know. So it was a good decision. I made up my mind. It was very, very hard journey. It was a very hard journey for me, but I made it. And I'm so grateful to God. So we
should be thankful to God, ma, because you see that journey you embarked upon that 32 years ago to 33 years ago, ma. Somehow, you probably will feel. I don't know if you saw the young people 30 years later. Some of them never born at the time. They will be embarking on the same journey for the same reason, even for the worst reason that made you live at the time. 32 years after. Yeah. So somebody who is in his own 20 years, is in his own 20s now, right? Somebody is telling them, Nigeria is going to be great. You need to be patient. It's going to work.
That's what my told me. I said, this has been
30 years of their life.
Before I was born. Before I was born, you've been saying things will get better.
Yes.
And it's not getting better. So, and me, my own problem was I couldn't get a job. So how would I have children in this country?
For my family?
Somebody will sleep with my child to give them a job. No, it's not going to happen. And I left, and to God be the glory.
That's what I wanted to say.
So everything worked out according to God's plan in my life. So I just want to let you know that I don't even know how much they would need to hear for them to know that it is that bad. It is very, very bad. But I don't think they know. That's my problem.
Like your husband said, that maybe it's because of the weather. There's so many reasons, right? It could be one of them because it's so shocking sometimes. I mean, if they pretend not to know, man, if they pretend not to know, if they pretend not to know, that's fine. But when they start fighting you for telling them to drop those things, drop all these things, these people don't care for you and they turn on you. Does that mean that they don't know as well? Oh, they actually knew. They love it.
I don't know. And then they will ask you to give them money, and they are following Tinubu. So I said, you know what? Don't follow Tinubu and ask me for money. You go and ask Tinubu for money. If Tinubu is a good man, Abi, go and ask him for money. You cannot follow Tinubu and then come to my phone and ask me
disturbing me.
For money. I am working hard for my money here. I have gray hair already. I cannot use my gray hair to go and work and give you my money. When you think Nigeria is a good thing that happened to you, that's fine. So it's not as bad as nothing. It's all of you diaspora. You take it too high.
Exactly.
It's not that bad. Anyway, only God.
Much.
I don't even know what
everybody
to say.
Will learn. No, don't worry yourself. We'll continue to show it to them that when they continue in this trajectory, it's not leading anybody anywhere good. Okay? So make everybody just choose their own poison very well. And then die their own die. But don't blame anybody for what happened to you, because you are making the choices and stick to them. And the rest, the consequences of them.
Because I can't understand any election they're doing. Instead of them to think of how to be saved.
It is well.
They are doing they are doing they are doing stupidness. Real stupidness.
It's intentional. Thank you so much, ma. Let me take another call.
You're welcome.
With our limited so and say me well to your
say
husband.
Hello to all your family and Leila.
I will. God bless you. Thank you, ma. And say and greet the family for me. I know they can hear me, but just say that I said hi to everyone, ma. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes, bye, ma. So I'll take another one. I have another caller. Sorry, it's a busy one there. Okay?
Hello.
Oh, hello, ma. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Jigbe. Tonight, man, I'm just boiling.
Really? I mean, I couldn't. You know what, ma? I couldn't hold back at some point myself. I know some people will be like, "Maiyegun, you don't need to be vulgar like that. Continue what you are doing. We like what." I don't feel I'm even trying to control them. Where am I supposed to call them weary, Baba?
This is supposed to be woto. They're supposed to be connecting it with woto.
Every corner, every day.
Nigeria. Àwọn alálẹ̀ Yorùbá ló máa mú gbogbo wọn ní kọ̀ọ̀kan láti rọ kìíní dé ìrọ̀ kẹwàá wọn. Jesus, we know these people are terrorists. They have evil agenda, and to make the matter worse, you can hear the so-called deputy, the VP, terrorist sympathizer Thomas vice president. If that idiot was even so bold enough to say he will be in charge of the security.
People they see the red flag, man. Now waiting they won't chop, no make them get sense most of the time. Seriously.
These people supposed to collect woto. Jesus. and are people blind?
They are not.
Can they read between the lines? Hey, and they're now telling us, ọmọ tó ṣe di bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí ò wúlò.
Ọmọ wa tó lọ gbégi ìlera wálé ọmọ tó ń sọ ó lọ gbégi ìlera wálé o igi ìlera ọ̀hún báyìí òun ló jí gbogbo lélẹ̀ yìí o tá a lè sùn tá a lè wo mọ́ yìí o wọ́n wá ní ká tó fi lẹ̀kẹ̀ sí díẹ̀ ṣán ya wèrè ni mà.
Ilẹ̀ tó fowó. There are so many things that have come against this so-called Tinubu. He's the one that is trying, because if Tinubu, and I will keep saying it, if this so-called greedy bastard has not put himself forward as APC representatives, I'm telling you, the north of Yoruba will have come together because we won't have anybody. Now they've like split the vote in the middle.
They put a delayed button and they are now still grandstanding, thinking that they are actually keeping Yorubas for Nigeria. We all know that once they can't get what they want, right? They will be more aggressive than many of us, and we know that.
I know, and that was what I told one idiot this morning. That we are waiting because I know for sure as soon as you don't get that ticket,
another angle, now they got it. They rig everybody. They do all they want to do, Abi. Shetima can't get in. Can't they show them? Right?
You go show them. That, and then go collect.
How would they deal with that? A lot of things that they are not considering, but nobody else go tell them what to do. But we can tell them the consequences of what they do. They have to know the consequences of what they do. They must know.
Don't worry, they will still be calling for help on social media, and not to mention some of them will still turn to Babiala. Social media pages. Let me allow you to continue.
Thank you so much, I don't take it. Abi, thank you, man. I'll take another one again as well. Here we go. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Ẹ̀kúṣẹ́ ọlọ́mọ ṣàgbàdà tó kò ní rẹ̀yìn.
Àmín. Tẹ̀yìn náà.
Maiyegun, ṣe rí gbà míì tí n bá jókòó báyìí màá tẹ̀ máa wá ronú pé ṣé orí àwọn èèyàn yí ni.
Ó possible. Kọ̀ọ̀kan wà tí ò right.
Because pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ẹ̀yin náà rí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ̀dẹ̀ tó ń sọ̀pọ́tì bàbá wa ní èèyàn wa ní máa wá wo pé ìwọ Ọlọ́run. Ẹ jẹ́ wo pandemic yóò kọ́ àwọn èèyàn lọ́gbọ́n. Bẹ̀ẹ̀ kìíní kan lèmi tí wọ́n á wò pé nǹkan kan ni wọ́n rò pẹ̀lú igbákejì tán lọ fún Tinubu yìí. Ẹ rí i pé bí tá máa padà nọ́ọ̀kì wọn sí ni pé ṣèbí ńgbà tí kí wọ́n ti ń pè kú Jonathan ló take over.
No, normal thing ni.
Wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tún wá hand over wa lé àwọn pípù yìí lọ́wọ́ wọ́n tún wá lo 8 years torí Tinubu ò lè lo 2 years nígbà tí wọ́n bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ kó wọlé. Bí Tinubu òkú kọ Ọlọ́run àwọn pípù yìí máa pa. Bí òkú kú pé àárẹ̀ tó ń ṣe ṣé ronú ni ọkàn tó fẹ́ fà wá Yorùbá. Mo sọ fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi táwọn ọjọ́ wa ìlú ìbò mi lọ́wọ́ o. Wọ́n dẹ̀ tún ronú bí ẹni tó jẹ́ kórìí wọ́n ti dàrú pé kò síbi tá a fẹ́ ti Tinubu sí bàbá wa ní Tinubu bàbá wa ní ẹ̀gbọ́n wa ní ọmọ Yorùbá ni ṣùgbọ́n kó má fa àwa sínú gbogbo wàhálà yìí mọ́.
ìgbèkùn tó wẹ̀ ò ní ká tó lè má sin bí mọ́gan tó máa ó lè má sin láyé mọ́gan láti ẹ̀ ti rí nǹkan tó ojú wa máa rí ọgọ́ igọ́ yìí ẹni tó jọmọdé tó ń tó ronú jinlẹ̀ ló ń tẹ̀lé ọ bàbá sà.
Oh my God ó máa ń dùn mí ẹ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ tó lọ because ní bá ń kí n sọ̀rọ̀ jù
a sọ tiwa ni èèyàn ti ń sá sọ síbẹ̀ ká kú síbẹ̀ sà bọ́ èyí tá a sọ yìí náà ó ti eyín ó ti wà on record torí ọjọ́ ọ̀la a rí tọ́ka sí o gbogbo wọn náà lájọ ń wúra wa gbogbo àwọn tájọ búra wa ní 2014 2015 ìtìjú ò lè jẹ́ kẹ́lómi dìde ń sìnkú fẹ́ campaign fún Tinubu ẹ̀ ní believe ìtìjú so aṣojú wa ibẹ̀ là ń wò lọ yìí. God bless you sir. Let me be another one. Now here we go. I'm going to give a quick sorry my caller, can you hang on for me for a minute? Just 1 minute. Sorry, 1 minute. Thank you. So I want to do a quick interpretation there of my last caller. Okay, he was kind of not happy. That he said sometimes when he sits and thinks about the Nigeria issue, right? He sometimes feel like are people mad with a question mark? And I said, well, they probably are, because to him, they can see these things. They are those being affected, and they can see all this evidence enough that. Yeah, probably blinded with whatever else, right? It was just kind of surprise, but at the same time, yeah, he believed that with time, everybody go collect their own share to start with, right? Maybe everybody will get their own sense at the end of the day as well. Let's put it through. Hello there.
Hello, Maiyegun.
Sir, how are you?
Good evening, sir. This is my second time of calling. My name is Friday.
Friday, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling from Andorra.
Andorra.
Oga.
Where is Andorra again? Can you remind me?
Andorra is in the middle of Spain and France. It's a very small country at the middle. Yeah. It's like an island, but surrounded with mountain. So,
well, maybe your own island is not out of water. So, I can imagine what it is. Small but significant.
Yeah. But the thing is that the only thing I'm passing through is I'm the only Nigerian boy in this country. So it's making it so difficult for me sometimes.
Now, in that place, you will become Irun, you will become Igba, you will become Erinwo, because
by God's grace, I've even become Igba. I've become so Maiyegun ẹmọ̀kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní pé Yorùbá ni máa sọ kọ́rọ̀ mi bá lè dùn dáadáa. Ṣé rí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà tí ó ti tó stage kan pé tí bá wà pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi gbà mí máa ń sọ pé ṣé Nàìjíríà ò kì í ṣe hellfire ni, because bí Bible ṣe describe hellfire ó dà pé hellfire ni Nàìjíríà, because mo máa ń sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi pé how come pé a máa dé ìlú ìbò tá a bá dé ìlú ìbò Europe àwọn máa gbàdúrà pé Olúwa ó ṣé o mo ti débi.
mo ti bọ́ o.
ó wá dójú pé Maiyegun mi ẹ wò iṣẹ́ tí máa ṣe ní Nàìjíríà the same job ni mo ń ṣe ní báyìí. I am living like a king. At the same job yẹn tí bá ṣe ní Nàìjíríà ẹrú ni mí is like kòtó ni. So wá dé stage kan máa sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi níbí báyìí pé ṣé wọ́n ṣépè fún black country ni, ṣé wọ́n ṣe kò sẹ́ni tó lè trace history wa ni, ṣé wọ́n ṣépè fún wa ni. Dèmọ́ á sọ fún èmi ìgbà tá a wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ mo sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi pé ó kàn wò mí títí ó ní Friday torí Spanish la máa ń sọ Spanish la máa wọ́n ní Friday ¿qué pasa? Kí ló dé? Torí wọ́n mọ̀ pé ẹni kan tó jẹ́ pé ó máa ń rẹ́rìn ni mi, mo máa ń ṣe fún ọ̀gbọ́n, mo máa ń ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ gan. I'm very active. So bọ̀bọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ wo mi látọ̀ kọ́kọ́ wọ́ ní Friday. Kí ló ṣe? Wọ́n á ní mò ń ro ní ayé wa ni àwa black people. Wọ́n á ní kí ni mò ń rò? Mo ní báwo la ṣe máa wá from tàbádé ìlú òyìnbó a máa sọ pé a máa gbà á ládùúrà pé Olúwa ó ṣe pé mo ti débi. Ṣé ọ̀run ni bí báyìí ni? Mo ní iṣẹ́ tí mò ń ṣe yìí tí bá ṣe di
nǹkan tí àwọn èèyàn mọ̀ pé wọ́n miss ni pé ibi tọ́lọ́run kẹwàá dé tọ́lọ́run fún wa lọ́pọlọ dé àsìtúdù kò sílùú tá a dé kò sí dé tó ń sọ ń bẹ̀ a máa sáré kọ láàrin ọjọ́ mélòó kọ a ní láti lọ léwe o a dẹ̀ sáré mọ́ wọlé pé bàbá ṣe wá mọ ìyẹn tó abes ní work fún wa abes ní progress wàá máa wò pé ibi tí mo ti ń sọ èdè ẹnu mi tí gbogbo èèyàn gbọ́ mi báyìí wọ́n dẹ̀ gbé development away from me torí pé mo jára Nàìjíríà ó sad o seriously tó bá jẹ́ ọ̀tá ní
bàbá Maiyegun ó sad kò sí kan tí mi ti sọ fún mo lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kan APC ni ó ti yẹ APC ni ìgbà tí mo wà lé mo ń ṣe politics mi ò lè purọ́ fún yín mo mú wá yín pé èmi máa ń sòótọ́ wọ́n wá pè mí sẹ́yìn wọ́n sọ pé ọ̀gbẹ́ni tó bá fẹ́ di nǹkan ò lè sòótọ́ ní politics àtìgbà mo ti fi politics sílẹ̀ Maiyegun mo wá sọ pé serious wọn are you serious wọn nínú ò lè sòótọ́ politics àtìgbà mo ti fi politics sílẹ̀ pé no life mi ò go pẹ̀lú irọ́ so mo wá decide pé may I have to leave so ìgbà tí bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn ọ̀rẹ́ mi yẹn ó sì wà ní politics today ẹ mọ̀ kan tí máa ń sọ fún tó bá bèbè lówó lọ́ máa ń sọ pé mi ì lè fún ẹ lówó kó ṣe pé mi ní láti fún ẹ ọ̀ mi ì lè fún ẹ bọ̀ tí bá ránṣẹ́ màá fún lówó màá sọ pé èyí tó bá ṣẹ́kù kó o lò fúnra ẹ̀ ó ti yẹ bọ́ mi ì lè fún ní owó bọ́ tó tún wá dé stage kan Mr. Maiyegun ìgbà mi máa ń sunkún on my own personally pé amúdẹ̀ ní gẹ̀ẹ́fẹ̀ nǹkan òyìnbó ni àná fẹ́ bá mi lọ lé òun fẹ́ lọ Nàìjíríà òun fẹ́ lọ wo Nàìjíríà mo ní tó bá jẹ gbé kí ni mo fẹ́ wá sọ fún àwọn èèyàn ẹbí wọ́n ti jẹ.
àwọn tí lé ò mọ effect nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ńlé yẹn lára wa tá a sì ń lé that's why man sọ pé a máa exaggerate because wọ́n ti condition àwọn to get used to àwọn orú àwọn kan bẹ́ẹ̀ but àwa ò sí nínú frame yẹn mọ́ that frame of mind yẹn we are no longer down so before you go into such place.
So exactly ṣẹ́rí kan tí máa ń sọ fún yesterday I was talking to my younger brother mo wá sọ story fún ní bros kò ń ṣe pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yan kò lè tó yẹn mo ní nǹkan ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wá nù ẹ̀ lè rí ẹ̀ kí n rí ó kọ́ dàbí àwọn tó ń gbá bọ́ọ̀ ni ẹni tó wà lórí fíìdì orí nǹkan tó àwọn tó rí tó wà ń ta ló máa ń rí jù ṣọ́ra wa tó wà bí báyìí à ń rí nǹkan tẹ̀yìn ò rí ẹ̀ rí danger rárá so ó dẹ̀ máa ń sọ pé òótọ́ dẹ̀ lẹ́ sọ tí bá wá sọ fún pé okay ṣé lè yóò ṣẹlẹ̀ tí bá máa kà kan márùn-ún sílẹ̀ pé ṣé kò ṣẹlẹ̀ náà ni ó ṣẹlẹ̀ náà bọ̀ kò ṣe ní Lagos.
Kò ń ṣe Lagos yìí now.
Exactly. So Mr. Maiyegun, to God be the glory pé I hook up to your program yìí ti là mí lójú ti là síbi pé kẹ́rí èmi gan tẹ́lẹ̀ Jésù mo ti jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ mi ti mo máa ń sọ fún àwọn pípé pé mi ń gbàdúrà mo máa ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ náà ni Olúwa ó ṣeun Olúwa ó ṣe àná Olúwa ó ṣe ọ̀la thank you ni máa ń sọ mi sọ pé ṣé mi máa sọ fún àbúrò mi sè ṣé mi máa gbàdúrà pé kọ́lọ́ mú náà wà ní iná máa wà ní 247.
Take me to my glory I want to get to my glory Ọlọ́run gbọ́ máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé come Friday wetin be your glory again you are working in this place ṣé o ti fẹ́ di manager ni àbí nǹkan tó lọ́ọ́ máa bèrè kọ́ nìyẹn.
Exactly.
Ṣé
nígbà tí mo sọ fún Mr. Maiyegun
there will be no reason for.
Kẹ́rí ẹjẹ́ sọ kíní kan fún yín kẹ́rí ìgbà tí mo dé ìlú òyìnbó mo wá realize pé gbogbo life tí mo ti live 21 years mo fi dé ìlú òyìnbó àti mo wá 21 years mo wọ ìlú òyìnbó mo wá rí pé so aṣọ tẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ló máa ń fún mi láṣọ ọgbọ̀n èyí tó bá lòkù ló máa fún mi ìgbà tí mo wá dé ìlú mo wá wò pé tí bá wọ ìtẹ́gbọ́n mi fún ẹ máa wò pé mo fine gan àṣé ìyà ni mo ń jẹ aṣọ mi báyìí mo wá sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi pé Christmas time ló máa ń ra aṣọ fún wa but níbí báyìí you can go every weekend mo lè lọ ní Montero raṣọ mo wá sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi pé men there are basic ibi báyìí mo ti wọ́n understand pé there are basic things of life they call it basic kò ń ṣe pé
tó bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní problem
basic ni wọ́n
accessing them o ti poor nìyẹn something is wrong nìyẹn like once you begin to struggle to access them struggle to access electricity struggle to get access to your gas to clothes to food problem ti wà nìyẹn ó tún láwọn tó máa take care ní level yẹn when that happen to you.
Exactly. But I realized life in a different way. They call things basic. They just basic. We're talking of life, good road, education, hospital, good healthcare. These are basic.
Normal.
Then you want to be rich. That now depends on what your intelligence is. Ibi tọ́gbọ́n ẹ wá dé ibi kan kó tó kà school tó education ẹ ìyẹn ló máa wá determine if you are going to be one year that man is a fucking rich man kò ṣe basic things of life. Maiyegun, look, thank you very much.
You know, Baba.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your program. Me, kì í sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀, mo kàn máa ń listen sí yín ni. I love listening, but me, kì í fẹ́ máa sọ, mo kàn ní jẹ́ kí n máa try bóyá máa ti get tẹ̀lé ni. So yeah, me like láti máa sọ̀rọ̀, but I always listen to you. Man, listening.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you. I thank you very much, and I share your program.
Again, that's all for me now.
Andorra,
next to Spain.
Yeah. It's just between Spain and France. It's a very small country.
Because Spain is kind of with all this island as well, but they are like water. So
yeah. Thank you very much, Baba. I feel you. I feel you well. I swear. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Jam ourselves on the street of Andorra. I'll be the second.
Barcelona, so from here to Barcelona, just 3 hours drive.
Yeah.
I will come. I will find you. Tibate ya picture pẹ̀lú I will. The future is bright then.
I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that it's bright, but it is only brighter if we are all in oneness as we are doing right now. But apart from that, individually, privately, I mean, personally, we should thank God though. We are only more.
Yeah, Baba, I was stubborn good. I was stubborn good. They prefer to die in that poverty than making a change. They prefer to die in that poverty. That is what they born them. Because all in 1 year, that poverty not be what you know.
Thank you so much for your time. Stop by. Have a good one, Baba. Nice one. So I will take another one. I've got another veteran on this call, and you might actually be my last caller tonight because of my time. Hello, sir.
Yeah, what up, my brother?
One name.
The number. One name.
How are you tonight, Osita?
I'm great.
Here we go, Osita. Una open una eyes. You opened your eyes. So terrorists are collecting billions and billions of naira contract. Apart from the ransom they have been collecting for. Hey.
Exactly. This is one thing I want to talk about.
Please.
Thank you for the day of today.
Thank you.
But in all this, there is something I want us to relate all these things to, with the one that happened this week that they actually called, they called a so-called wanted man from Polo to come and guide their pipeline.
Tompolo.
And on the and the counter to that, the Ijaw people from the between Bayelsa and Bayelsa State and Cross River State,
right?
I mean, and River State, they made their own statement too. That how can you call Tompolo and you don't want to have a discussion with us?
That's all about 2023. They are creating more problems everywhere intentionally.
Exactly.
Go on, Baba.
Intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
So that you will not come, that they will see or they will know if Tompolo will jump to their own region to come and tell them
pipelines in their communities.
Mm-hmm. So everybody is dancing. Everybody keeps talking. 23. I believe you still, my voice is pendant on this particular platform. I've always told people that they have not shown us any sign that this government wants to go just like that. There is not going to be an election. Let everybody just fully themselves. There's not going to be any election. So by the time, because the pipeline is something that has to do with the international community, so they want to blow it up. So by the time they blow the problem up there, and when they tell the international community, oh, we cannot conduct the election, what will international community do? Nobody can do anything. So all they will do, they will create a pandemonium here and there. Before you know it, the military strike. And we'll go back to we'll go back to the status to square one. And when we go back to square one, everybody will say, we no go agree, this and this, Nadeko from this side, and from this side. At the end of the day,
can't imagine that, but
yes, at the end of the day, they will shout and shout and shout. Then the military
they will put a reconciliation, rebuilding, this and that process for 1 year.
And the military, and the military will tell the international community, at least you've seen our path. Our path, we are creating a path back to democracy.
Osita, do you know what I observed? To what you are saying, yeah? Do you know what I observed too? Which I believe will be useful in what you are saying as well, right? They are going to pay Tompolo for 4 billion every month. That one is creating its own crisis. It's already brewing right now in Niger Delta as we speak, right? This is just a few months to election, okay? Now, up north, right? The terrorists that are killing and doing a lot, especially this Truji and others, they are also collecting amnesty and backing that up with hundreds of millions of naira as amnesty for them, okay? Now we discover that other groups are also collecting security contracts where money, billions of money, are exchanging hands into the hands of faceless group of people. Now, all of this now pointed to, we have heard that Northwest, there may be no election. Why? There is increased insecurity in that place as we speak, and it's going to get worse, we've been told. In fact, they are pumping more money to increase the insecurity, we've been told, so that there will be no election there. So all of this, as we speak, will point to one thing, Osita, the government of Boko Haram, they don't seem to have any plan of living, and if they have any plan of living, it's not going to be a transition to transition. I have my theory too, but go on, Osita.
Yes, let me tell you something. One thing we have to realize is either you are brilliant for good or you're brilliant for evil. Yeah. Malamu, he is the one launching all these rockets here and there. Now, let me tell you, let's analyze this thing together.
Please.
In Buhari's kitchen cabinet, did you ask yourself a simple question? Is any of them running for any position in this imaginary 2023?
No. Initially, they appointed themselves too, but they didn't.
Yes, but because when they were planning that to appoint themselves, they had another plan B.
Because that would take them away from the presidency. So all of a sudden, they all withdrew. They returned back in.
They withdrew. Then what did they do? They resorted to their plan B. This is their plan B because they know that there's not going to be any election.
Where there is crisis.
Are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me that this dispensation, this current dispensation, they are the best dispensation that at the end of the day, in the history of Nigeria, they didn't contest for election. Even in America, when a dispensation is going, part of that dispensation will now go into politics.
Of course.
Are you trying to tell me that
especially those who have served there like almost 7-8 years with the government, they will likely want to go for.
Yeah. So are you telling me that these ones are saints that they don't want to go into politics?
They attempted it, but I think they discovered that that would be too risky because the moment they are away from that place, anything can happen. So they chose to go back. They attempted
it. They find out that the blood of some people or the youth are rising. So what did they do? They go back to their plan B. This is their plan B. You know, we've been hearing, anytime we hear this thing they call interim national government, you know where it brings our mind to. Yes, you know where it brings our mind to. It returns our mind back to what happened in Hope 1993. And I keep telling people it is a playbook of whatever that is going to happen. That Hope 1993 is what we are seeing now is a mirage of that, but it will come to fruition by January, second week of January, after we say Happy New Year, you will see what is going to happen in Nigeria. You will find out that, they will tell you that,
you are even talking
no
about January,
like
Osita. If you know what I have been told, lined up for October when their campaign starts, some of them, I just internally kind of told myself that I hope they never happen. They are not good. They are not, right? Including the level of incitement that they're going to push. You see all these ones that we are still breaking fight between Igbos and Yorubas on social media now. Baba, from October, it's going to get worse because they are going to deliberately, right, flood the social media with a fake account of Igbo names, Yoruba names, and they will be dishing out divisive, like you've never seen before, divisive rhetorics, right, that will further build that bad blood. So if you hear clashes anywhere, it won't be new. All of these are all going to work towards, you said, January 2023. If they can make it that far, I just pray it no happen, Sha. Anyhow.
Yes, because at the end of the day, you will be here. One person will now say he's going to court that the election was not true. They are not going to announce it. That was how they did it in 1993. That one person went to the court and said the election cannot hold.
Cannot continue. They cannot continue to announce the results.
And this one.
And that is Nzeribe, by the way. Nzeribe. Working for Babangida's government, because it was the government of Babangida that sponsored that. Better Nigeria or something they called himself is Nzeribe at the time.
And this one you are seeing, this particular one that you're going to see, based on their evil book they call their constitution, you will find out that they have every right, every jurisdiction, evil legally backed up by
a
that
very powerful clause that they put in the constitution and nobody has ever read about it because nobody believed that Nigeria will ever get to a stage where somebody will say we cannot hold election.
They will tell you that that we were managing that we should hold this election, but in almost every state in Nigeria there is pandemonium, there is crisis. We cannot hold the election. And that is where we are heading to. The body shape of a government, of a particular administration that is about to be, you will know if you will see the body shape that
they should have started processing their transition as they call it. But the way they are operating, it doesn't look so.
There is nothing like that.
No.
So I want people to understand where we are going to, and I want people to be prepared. Just like Autumn has said, be prepared.
Be prepared.
Let us take, that Autumn preparation that Autumn has said, be prepared. That is the kind of preparation I am telling everybody, be prepared. It is not going to be easy. I tell people from the beginning that freedom, you cannot earn it, but you can only gain it. You fight for freedom. It doesn't come for free
to you. No.
It won't be handed to you on a platter of gold.
No.
So we need to be very, very prepared at this time. What is going to happen?
The time is closing up.
Yeah. And I am telling people, if you think that you are the part of the people that tells everybody that, I am Fulani that will rule this country, will tell everybody how this country is going to be, I'm telling you, by the time it starts, you are definitely going to be disappointed. It's an advice that I'm giving on the national or international platform. If your uncle, your father, your mother, your relative is part of what is happening, that we cannot go our separate ways peacefully. I am telling you, this time around, it's not like Nnamdi Kanu said. It is never going to be like 1966.
No.
It's never going to be like 1966.
That is why what they are pushing right now, I don't think, like, you know that parable that says that you as a person or as an ethnic group, you can cook for the whole country, other people, right? And the food may not be enough. Everybody will eat from it. But if the entire ethnic nationalities of Nigeria decide to cook for you, are you sure you can feed and eat and finish it? So we haven't started to cook for them, and they believe that we will never have the audacity to cook for them. I believe they will push it. They will push that button.
Exactly.
It's almost time.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you so much, Osita, for stopping by. I have a Princess here, but I'm going to tell her that, Princess O, I am not supposed to take your call, but I wanted to hear your voice after what I heard. I mean, after what happened. Okay?
Hello, Baba.
Princess, how are you?
Good evening, Jerry.
I'm
fine. What program is on?
Program is on.
Hey, I'm your I'm going to love me, right?
I know, but everybody's people can hear you.
Okay.
So you have just 2 minutes to wrap us up, and then we can just call it a night. I won't even give a closing one.
Baba. We are good, and David is doing a very good job. Yeah.
I just had to bring that back.
David is doing fine. He should keep exposing them like that. Yeah. Àwọn olórí burúkú tó ń tẹ̀lé APC tó ń tẹ̀lé àwọn Tinubu káàkiri. Tí ò bá ń ṣe pé orí àwọn èèyàn wá yí, tí ò bá ń ṣe pé orí àwọn èèyàn ò padà ní pé mọ́. Mi ò rí reason. Àwọn pípù ìtọ́ bá máa ṣe ìyàwó fáwọn ọmọ wọn kì í pè yín síbẹ̀ náà. Tọ́gì ló ń fi gbogbo yín ṣe káàkiri. And Osita ti parí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, Maiyegun. Mo rò pé election ẹ máa wà.
Because notice àwa ti sọ pé in this pandemonium, in all this chaos, we can say pé they can give excuse not to hold election, Abi. But now, I am also beginning to believe as well that they are now funding
Baba, and you know I
group,
said this. Mo ti tẹnumọ́ kínní láti last year.
I remember.
Láti December last year ni mo ti ń tẹnu wọn pé ṣe é sure pé ìlú tó bá jẹ gbèsè òun kì í wọ́n máa hand over ni. Àwọn òpèrè tán wà lè bá Boko Haram jà lọ́ máa ní kó take over.
Military.
Ṣé Maiyegun tí sójà gan bá wá take over ṣé kò pè wá ni? Tí sójà bá take over a ti mọ̀ pọ́wọ́ tẹ́rọ̀ la wà.
Kò sí Yorùbá sójà.
A ti mọ̀ pọ́wọ́ tẹ́rọ̀ la wà, ikú wá dé po ni. Ju báwọn èèyàn ṣe jókòó, àwọn somewhere this evening, mo ń bá bàbá àgbàlagbà kan mo pàdé ẹ̀ níbì kan ní Ọlọ́run á gbà wá lọ́wọ́ wọn, mo ní bàbá tẹ́ bá rọra sọ̀rọ̀, máa ní kọ́ rọ yín sí gọ́tà. Ọlọ́run fẹ́ gbà yín, bóbó lọ́lọ́run ti fẹ́ gbà yín. Ọlọ́run tọ́lọ́ bá ti empower yín láti ṣe kò ní bá yín ṣe mọ́ láíláí.
Ìwà ṣe physically.
Ọlọ́run á provide seed fún yín. Á fàṣẹ sí kágbàdo wù. Ṣé olóma bá yín ka, olóma bá yín tè é? Á tún ti bọ́ yín ṣọ́ṣẹ́pẹ̀ fún yín ni bàbá. Ìṣe ló dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wò. Ó Maiyegun wò ó dàárọ̀ jàre. Ó dàárọ̀ mi ìwọ́n kọ́ program ṣe wà ọ́. Mo kàn ń pè lọ́nbí ni. Àtijẹ́ yóò yìnbọn nínú ẹ́sẹ̀tì níṣẹ́ mi ò lè sùn. Mi ò mọ̀ pé àwọn ọlọ́dẹ wọ́n ti gbé bọ̀ dání. Mo ò sùn mọ́jú. Mo wọ pé olúwàdú sílìkì kọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ lọ kó sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ náà ni.
Kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ háìdì kọ́kọ́ dàárọ̀ ọ̀la.
Nígbà tí ò sí English lọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n máa fi dá wọn lóhùn padà. Bàbá, Ọlọ́run aṣọ gbogbo ó dàrọ̀. It is, it is. All right, Baba.
Yeah, that's the princess. So, my time is so up. I'm going to see you some other time. If you're just joining, or if you joined us midway, you can actually watch this from the start again anyway. Yeah, you can. Now I'm going to be back again when I am. And good night from here.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Naija #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Naija #1. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun Diary Naija #1. àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. Maiyegun Diary politico. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Jaibi #1. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. òkúra olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. àyè. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.